Hola, bon dia. Carl Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show from expatsportugal.com. Good morning to you. How are you this morning? Sorry, I was a bit late to the screen, wasn't I? Just setting up my terça-feira, the 24 de Novembro for you this morning. So where are we? Tuesday, the 24th of November. Not too bad. Sat here in a shirt. No thermals on or anything like that into the last week of November here in Portugal. And the weather's looking pretty good. Good morning to all of you who are already here. I feel hungover, although not a drop past my lips last night. We were up late celebrating with Ali Sheldrake. And nice to see Dave join us on the screen last night. We were celebrating the launch of Ali's book. She first wrote, and we interviewed her when she published Living the Dream in the Algarve, Portugal, the story of one couple's move from the UK to live in the sun. And then the follow-up has just been published, which is what we were talking about last night, talking to some of the characters live on the show who are featured in the book, Living the Quieter Algarve Dream, from the author of Living the Dream in the Algarve, Portugal, Alison Sheldrake. So it was lovely to do that with you, Ali, last night, and your assembled friends as well. I tried to get some booze so I could toast the publication, and all I came back from the shop with was Algarve orange juice, because I fell foul of the 8 o'clock rule. First time I've done that. So that's one thing we could talk about this morning. What's affected you with the restrictions, and what legal workarounds have you found? How has your life changed? I mean, all of our lives have changed, haven't they, in the last 8 or 9 months? But we might want to talk about that, debrief and process that, and also keep the Portuguese pilot lit as well. Because better times must be around the corner now. We'll look at the weather. I've got the ACP to share with you. I mean, it was yesterday when I was banging on about Vodafone. Somebody suggested a really good consumer service that is an insurance that you pay every month. I'm sorry, the name escapes me now, but Sapphira, if you're there, could you please give me that again? Or if anyone else is a member of that esteemed organization, let me know what it's called, because we do need to dig deeper into that. And you pay a few euros every month, and they will fight a consumer issue on your behalf, which is pretty awesome. So I would love to be reminded of that. Forgive me for not writing that down yesterday. So other consumer organizations and helps for you, consumer hacks this morning. The ACP, which is the equivalent of, really, from where I'm from, of the AA or the RAC, the Portuguese Motoring Association, which we will be talking to on Thursday evening. We're having a special with them that will focus on how to import a vehicle, which is always an interesting subject for expats, whether to bother, because it can be very expensive, but an introduction to how it works as well. We will be talking to ACP on Thursday in our webinar, Portugal Cooling webinar from 8 o'clock. And something else I wanted to share with you, Spotahome. Have you heard of Spotahome? For those of you looking for a lease agreement, because Airbnb can't really provide you with a lease agreement that's suitable for residency, there is a bit of a scramble going on at the moment to find somewhere to live, obviously, for those people who want to have the right ducks in a row, as it were, to get residency. Spotahome offers that, and I'll be telling you how that works. And the great news is premium members of Expats Portugal can get a discount on both Spotahome and the ACP. I also want to find out this is another reason why I was up late last night. I'm really hooked on The Crown. I'm thinking to myself, should I talk about The Crown? Good morning to you, Gary. Bon dia, amigos, from Gary in Alvazra. She's off the list now. Well done, you lot, over there in Alvazra. You're not in the most heightened levels of restrictions anymore, are you? So that's good news for you. And Paul, enjoyed Ali's chat last night. She lives in a lovely place. A little grey here this morning, says Paul. Yeah, it's slightly muted this morning, isn't it? But not a bad temperature, Paul? Let's look at that weather in just a moment. Yeah, talking about The Crown. And I was thinking, should I mention it this morning? Because it's obviously more of a Brit fixation. But I would have thought anyone who watches that, Americans might quite like it. Anybody who starts watching it must surely be gripped, whichever country they're from. What are you watching at the moment? Obviously, we're all spending a lot more time at home right now, which means possibly spending more time watching the box and watching streamed services, because the VPNs were mentioned yesterday, weren't they, as well? Which so thank you for your input on the VPN. We've also got a VPN provider in our business directory at expatsportugal.com. What are you watching at the moment? What gets your attention? And the outstanding thing for me last night watching The Crown, as well as, my mouth is open and I'm properly gripped by it. I was even dreaming last night of, kind of royalty and sort of weird. I don't know, the strangest dream I woke up with this morning. It was kind of slightly Arthurian and mystical and regal and, monarchical. Is that the right word? But the thing that struck me last night watching Gillian Anderson, and commentators have been saying, why is she always at 45 degrees when she's talking like Margaret Thatcher? Is it Gillian Anderson or is it Christopher Walken? Sometimes I think, wow, it's Christopher Walken. The Crown was brilliant, says Doreen Ray. Okay, so other people, I'm imagining, are you American or Portuguese there, Doreen? Forgive me, can you remind me? But perhaps it transcends all country boundaries because of the human drama involved. Louise, good morning to you. Hello, how are you this morning? Bon dia. Spotahome have property in limited places at the moment. Looking forward to them getting more. Okay, so a bit of feedback on Spotahome there. It sounds like a good idea, but I guess like all startups, they just need a bit more content. So we'll go back to them. Let's have a look at the weather now. So yeah, let me know. And let me know what... so Doreen is American and fascinated by The Crown. What else are you watching, guys, at the moment? What else might I go to when I finish watching The Crown? I have been watching The Queen's Gambit as well, which I quite enjoy, the story of a young chess player. Be careful what you say, don't you? So you don't spoil it. I'm not spoiling anything by telling you it's the life journey of a young female chess player, which I suppose is the notable thing about the script there. We just watched episode 2. Christopher Walken looks like Roger Taylor from Queen to me. A strange connection. Yes. Yeah, I can see that. I did walk past. I used to be a film extra, and the first gig I got was being on A View to a Kill. Excuse me. And the way it works as a film extra, you're just told to turn up somewhere and what to wear. So first gig can't be bad. When I became a film extra, go to Pinewood, take a dinner jacket with you. You're on the Bond movie, View to a Kill. And there was a Roger Moore film, of course. Roger, given that I'm an extra, I can call him by his first name. Roger, fabulous fellow, marvelous. He's doing his thing on a set. I was outside on a balcony, I think, as an extra. And as I walked back to wherever, I don't know, dressing room, cafeteria, whatever at Pinewood, past all the fantastic Carry On film, pictures on the wall, great sense of the past. And Christopher Walken coming down the corridor in front of me. So you got to stay cool, haven't you? You're a film extra, not a punter. But there he was, like, really far out. Must have been getting into character or something like that. But yeah, so there's a few lookalikes there. Christopher Walken, Gillian Anderson, and Roger Taylor. Bon dia from Anna de Silva this morning. Good morning to you, Anna. How are you? Joe Ely, you Americans are up so early. What's going on with that? Bon dia to you, Joe. Shandeep Singh Koza is here. The Spanish Princess on Apple TV is pretty great. Do I have to subscribe to that, Shandeep? I wonder. I'm not. Am I? No, I don't. I forgot. I don't know if you're like me, but every now and then you're reminded the sting of $7.99 leaving your account that reminds you that you signed up, or by some quirk of Amazon's cheeky checkout, you're on Amazon Prime as well. I must go back to Amazon Prime, see what's on there at the moment. Can anyone help me with anything on Amazon Prime this morning? You're such a lover. Yes, I know, Gary. Gary's a dear chap as well, of course. I binge watch every series of The Crown when it came out. Must say, I never thought much about the two C's. I even think even less of them now. What does that mean? I'm not sure. I don't even know if I should have read that out. I've skipped. I think I watched some of series 1, and then I just thought I've got to see what Gillian Anderson is like. People are talking about Gillian Anderson at 45 degrees, and actually, dare I say it? Sorry, Gary, but I mean, some people are even saying that she makes Margaret Thatcher look quite cool. I'm failing to see that. You might be glad to know, but. Yeah, I don't think the royal family are going to grow on anyone, are they? Watching The Crown, and I think also Stephen Daldry, the director who of course I believe directed Billy Elliot, and you see Princess Diana. Oh no, but I can't say that, can I? But yes, he directed Billy Elliot. He is a CBE. I wonder, is he going to get stripped of that? And the guy who thought it, what's he called? Is he Mason? He's not going to get a knighthood this year, is he? unless the royal family have got a really good sense of humour. We find ourselves watching lots of YouTube from people who are living their dreams, such as van life and renovating properties. Good shout, YouTube. I'm sure it's because we would have loved to do some of it a few years ago, but easier to watch other people, though, right, Paul? That's a good call, sir. Watch other people doing it. Have you succumbed to YouTube Premium, though? That's a question for you. The two C's, Anna Lucia. Charles and Camilla, of course. Fred and Gladys, you mean? Yes, Charles and Camilla, Fred and Gladys. Sorry for this crown diversion, but obviously people are liking this or loathing it, and they're liking that they loathe it. Bon dia from Bangkok. Just wanted to say thank you to the Portuguese gentleman Joel from the Friday Man Cave, who gave an insightful information on Portuguese politics and the relationship with the EU. I was a bit shocked how hard the agriculture sector was hit. Yes, it's a tricky old thing, the EU. Perhaps best not to talk about it too much at this time of the morning, certainly among British people. But it's not all it's not it's not all good. It's not all bad, and it's it's a harsh decision that has to be made, well, that has been made, obviously, already. But yes, the agriculture. The countries pay a price, don't they, with their EU membership? It is, and it's a matter of assessing quite practically, pragmatically, and possibly cold-heartedly, weighing up the benefits over the disadvantages. And there are definitely disadvantages, as we discovered from an actual Portuguese bloke on Friday night about agriculture in Portugal, all over Europe, in fact, Helen. It's okay. I like Gillian Anderson. It hasn't besmirched your view of Gillian playing that role. It's extraordinary, isn't it? It's just it just stops short. I suppose that's great dramatic acting, isn't it? It just stops short of hammy. And sometimes you're thinking, this is bizarre, this portrayal. But it still works. The Michael Fagan, the intruder episode into the palace, I was absolutely gripped. Haven't been to bed yet. What? Doreen in the US loved The Queen's Gambit too. It's Netflix's biggest limited series yet, watched by 62 million in its first 28 days. That's made her career, that young woman who plays that part, really well. She's pretty awesome, isn't she? Louise says, I couldn't live without YouTube Premium. I'm finding so much about people. Safaro's here, everybody, the man of the moment. Just talking about you, Safaro, and your introduction to Portuguese politics. Could you give me the name of that Portuguese consumer organisation that costs €3, is it, a month, that fights things on your behalf? I haven't spoken to Vodafone yet, couldn't get through to them. They'll probably charge me for that as well. I'm hooked on Sailing La Vagabond, my dream team, my dream lifestyle. They are on YouTube and been on the seas for the last 6 years. Okay, so Sailing La Vagabond from Anna Lucia. Love the show. I think she likes it, everybody. They put out a video every Monday, and then in the Azores at the moment. Amazing. Okay. EU tricky? Surely not. You see what I did there, Gary? Me too, Gary. I like her since the X-Files. I also like her reading The Gruffalo. And she did a really good animation of a little it was a family of robbers and their daughter, a children's program. And her voice is so distinctive, isn't it? Gillian Anderson, fantastic. Joe Johnson, hola, the sun is just about out. Happy days, fantastic. And Helen Shakara in Bangkok, yes, love The Queen's Gambit. Yeah, I'm sort of, it's a bit like people with books. I've got a few mini series on the go. I'm not a binge watcher. I can't watch more than about 2 or 3 episodes in a go. Some people can sit there for the whole day, can't they, and see it through. Not me. Let's have a quick look at the weather, and we'll come back to that. That's obviously hit a rich seam of interest this morning, what you're watching, given that we have to spend so much time inside. Let's look at our expats Portugal weather. Lisbon, 11 degrees, partly cloudy. 18 degrees in the capital today. But those 3 days of rain are coming in, and the temperature will drop tomorrow. A sunny day forecast for Friday, but a rainy weekend, sadly. Porto, similarly 11 degrees and overcast. 16 the high today in Porto in the north. 3 days of rain coming, folks. Get your washing in later on. Friday will be sunny at 17 degrees, but a rainy weekend, similarly to the capital. Coimbra, 10 degrees and overcast this morning. 17 degrees the high. 12 degrees tomorrow, 16 on Thursday. So nice temperatures in central Portugal, and a nice sunny day to look forward to on Friday, but raining again at the weekend. This all subject to change, of course. However, currently forecasting Faro 14 degrees at the moment, 18 the high today. There will be a little bit of sun peeking out from behind the clouds, but actually rain forecast in Faro, would you believe? for the 6 days thereafter, right through to next week. Who knows? That might change. I'm sure people will want it to. It gets a bit miserable after the first 3 days of rain, doesn't it? But we shouldn't complain, mustn't grumble. Okay, there's your weather for you. We're going to be talking about the Portuguese motoring association, that is the Automóvel Clube de Portugal, the ACP, and Spotahome with you this morning. And there is a little bit of news before I go there. Majority of Portuguese disagree with latest restrictions, apparently, say the Portugal resident. I want to share this with you. Let me have a quick sip of my OJ this morning. Excuse me for one moment. Right, that was delicious. I've discovered, to my chagrin and disappointment, I really like this stuff, but it was pointed out to me last night, or my worst fears were confirmed. I'm thinking, all that lovely orange juice in this carton here, made by the giants, the juice giants compile. But when you look at the ingredients, which I can't do now because I need glasses, but basically I can't find it on here. But it's water and sugar as much as it is orange juice. What a disappointment! And I mean, it's delicious, but I mean, I feel a little bit cheated that it's not pure OJ in there. But then again, what do you expect for 150? Ingredients: orange. So ingredients are predominantly orange juice and pulp, but there is water, sugar, and ascorbic acid. I guess that's the good form, or a form, not a good form necessarily, of vitamin C. Fruit content 50% minimum. So a little bit disappointed by that, but it's still delicious. All right, countdowns coming in. Dave and Debbie, can I mention what happened when I messaged you yesterday, Dave? Flights finally booked. The 13th of December, one way. Yay! Well done. Good for you. So glad to hear. I love it when I hear of people's countdowns towards coming to Portugal. A rather late good morning to all. Not at all, Neil. We've been talking about you, though. How are you doing there at Neil's house? Frank's house in the nether regions of Frank the Hat's gaff. Dave or Debbie, can I please say what happened yesterday? Because I thought it was funny. You obviously didn't, and I'm hoping you're seeing the funny side of that now. Valerie is here. Morning from the Silver Coast. Beautiful day here again. Blue skies and sunshine. Tree is up. Train is working. Video. I've got another video. Oh yes, we had a video from last year, I think. In case you don't know what Valerie and I are referring to there, she has an authentic American-style Christmas tree with a train that goes round the tree. It's fantastic. Casey Jr.'s coming round the track. Casey Jr.'s back. Oh, it's so great. I think it even puffs a bit of steam and talks. Certainly makes some great sounds. All right, the ACP. I'll come back to that in a minute then, Dave, and your further recommendation, Gary. Oh yes, this was the story of, or the article, not a story. Don't call them stories. We're talking about real people's lives here, not blooming stories. But look, majority of Portuguese apparently disagree with the latest restrictions. This is the sort of thing we don't know as expats necessarily, do we? Unless we've got some Portuguese BFFs, as we do here. Sapphira keeps us in tune with a finger on the pulse of Portuguese life and how Portuguese people feel about things. And I'm really pleased and proud, actually, that Portuguese people bother to watch us here and keep us on the straight and narrow. It's really important to us. So thank you, Portuguese people, for doing that. The government's latest convoluted round of restrictions, Natasha, ostensibly designed to help control a pandemic, are not being well received either by the general population or media commentators. I mean, this is inevitable, isn't it, at this stage of things? And the governments just obviously want people to hang on in there. A study conducted by research agency multidata.com in conjunction with Guess What? That's a good name for an organization. Can you imagine answering the phone at Guess What? I don't know if people still have receptionists. Having said that, it just sounds like such an old-fashioned thing. Do people bother anymore with that, especially in this time? But you ring up, Guess What? And the receptionist says, hello, guess what? And you go, what? No, hello, guess what? Yes, what? No, we are called Guess What? Oh, I see. They found out that 76.4% of Portuguese disagree with the tiered system of restrictions. Yeah, tiers. Tiers are not helping. See what I did there. Albeit being overwhelming in favor of some of the measures. That's hidden after the contentious headline, while media commentators are nothing like as generous, as they often aren't. Commentator Enrique Raposo, Henry the Fox, a fierce critic of what he calls the apocalyptic narrative of the pandemic. Wow, he sounds like an interesting character. Describes the new measures presented on Saturday evening as a sea of contradictions from a government that has lost its way. I bet the politicians are saying, oh, is old Henry going on again? Common observations have stressed that the Prime Minister seemed to be basing the government's actions on newspaper stories. He didn't show any scientific basis for them during the announcement. Stressed Raposo. We're still in a situation where playgrounds are closed. That's one I don't understand, I have to say, having been turfed out of one by the police. Schools are being closed, but shopping malls remain open. Yes, in conversation. I mean, that's the message we want to give kids, right? Go shopping, kids, but stay off that equipment. In conversation with Radio Renaissance, writer Jacinto Lucas Pires has pointed out that Portugal has already suffered 2 periods of confinement. They haven't flattened the curve, so why should they now? But they have severely impacted businesses and will continue to do so. As our friends, I stand shoulder to shoulder with the Paui Agua people, the bread and water folks who are crying for help. And they should get it, frankly. A former Minister of Interior Administration, Rui Pereira, himself a regular commentator for tabloid Correio da Manhã, has also raised criticism, saying it is important that political power listens to science and the doctors if this is what is happening. It is not clear. All in all, the draconian weekend lockdowns facing large swathes of the country from 1 p.m. on both Saturdays and Sundays for the next 2 weeks in areas that already suffer weekly nighttime curfews are getting the thumbs down from all sides. Over the weekend, venerated poet. Wow. Gotta love that about Portugal. Poets getting involved as well. Manuel Alegre, a former socialist politician who stood for the presidency against Marcelo in 2015, told Diario de Noticias, "We are witnessing the deconstruction of democracy within democracy itself." That sounds pretty poetic, doesn't it? 84-year-old Alegre was talking of in the context of a 30-page poem he has just published entitled "When One Makes a First Examination of the Oppression Experienced Due to the Pandemic." Wow, this is interesting. Is this particularly Portuguese, I wonder? In England, in UK, where I'm from, if you were to be a former politician and you stood against, a senior leadership position, you probably wouldn't retire and become a poet. You probably wouldn't retire. You would probably be on 10 different boards and you'd be loaded with all the friends you'd made from your political career. Here in Portugal, we discover a former socialist politician, now 84, becomes a poet, a critical poet of the regime, of the establishment in his senior years. Well done. Meantime, the Movement for Liberty that held a demonstration outside Belém Palace yesterday, this was Sunday, in protest to the latest restrictions, has been assured by President Marcelo of an audience to air their grievances. Well done, sir. The movement held 2 honking protests. Forgive me. A honking protest in a stream of vehicles in Lisbon and Porto yesterday. This is what happened on Sunday. Banners emblazoned with "End unconstitutional laws," PR tests give 90% positive, and masks don't protect were waved in Porto as restaurant workers gave interviews to Lusa. Vitor Pinto, a chef who has lost his job due to the pandemic, said, "What is happening because of this second wave is just not justifiable. We now have a virus which is much worse than COVID-19. It's a virus of hunger, misery, poverty, and it's happening all over Portugal." And I have to say, he's got a point. He said the main point of Sunday's protest was that the current situation did not merit a state of emergency that sends businesses into bankruptcy. And this is the thing, isn't it? If a government stops you working, they really should be helping you out, right? But then, yes, of course, the money is going to come from somewhere. That will come from taxation or borrowing. And who's going to pay that lot? We know the answer to that. Fellow demonstrator Helena Quintal railed, "Individual liberty is being annihilated every day. I did not give the government the right to decide when I should die or how I should die." Wow. The sense that this is, I'm asking for your tips about dramas on Netflix. This is equaling that, isn't it? The sense that this is a country where people are pulling together and in the same boat is fast disappearing, even from the pages of a media that up till now has been willingly disseminating what Enrique Raposa calls the apocalyptic narrative, which of course could easily be a Netflix title, couldn't it? The apocalyptic narrative. And I hope that this is, like all of us, that this is over soon and that we can turn a corner and we can improve and repair society pretty quickly. And that it is, that one day it will just become a dim and distant memory, perhaps characterized on Netflix and not be too serious. But I have to be honest with you, I don't know. We are facing some serious challenges and changes that are, I think, adequately summed up by that article. And I feel like, how do I go from that to the ACP and Spotahome? I'll tell you what, I will go into some of your comments instead to ease that transition. Pete, morning from a hazy Castanheira de Pera, got the wood stove on, but mainly to cook lunch. Oh, I love Pete can say, he's a poet. He can say so much about life in central Portugal with just a little comment or two. Our favourite things to watch. Good Morning Portugal. So such a great and humorous. Oh, darling, so kind, so kind. What a good note that is this morning. Thank you, Pete. You're far too old to be hogging this. You're far too old to be hogging. I can explain, Neil, to be hogging the swings in a children's playground. No wonder the GNR turfed you out. Like, it's a fair cop. Manuel Alegre was already a poet before politics. Oh, I see. Okay, but pretty cool nonetheless. I can't think of. I mean, I suppose Churchill was an artist, wasn't he? But I don't associate British politicians with the arts. In fact, I associate them with killing the arts often. The Incarnation Revolution. Oh wow! Started with a song from Zeca Afonso playing on the radio. That was a signal for the military to invade the streets of Lisbon. Yeah, I've heard this. And I have played that actually on our Portugal playlist podcast that we do occasionally in radio show. But that is, I mean, really, I don't know if there have been any mainstream or big movies based on the Carnation Revolution, but there should be. I mean, I can see that as a Netflix series because the Carnation Revolution and the Portuguese people have such a strong message in that in the whole. Well, if I may call it a story, but the whole way it was handled is a lesson to the rest of the world that you can have a bloodless. I mean, I think one or two people were killed in quite a sort of peripheral way. I mean, that's not to lessen their deaths, but it is essentially a bloodless revolution, wasn't it? And it had this beautiful motif of the Carnation and the story of the Carnation, the story of the song on the radio that was a signal, are all such beautiful, dramatic and visual device, or audio and visual devices, aren't they? That would make such a good film or miniseries. Portuguese people, is there something we can watch that would detail and educate us about that? Helen, thanks for that, Safira. The poet and the chef are enlightened. Yes, indeed. I had some pastel de nata liqueur last night. I'm confused because I don't know if I like it or not. That paints such a great picture, Gary, of a man in lockdown drinking pastel de nata liqueur and not knowing if he likes it or not. I'm so proud of you, Gary, and Helen is so proud of Portugal standing up. There we go. Government needs a reality check. The measures they did. Sorry, I'm laughing at 1 minute and then really feeling that the injustice. Also, here that Safira I think is talking about. Government needs a reality check. The measures they did affected the services and businesses depend on tourism to survive, making curfews a mandatory thing. And made many of those businesses close. Absolutely. And, we're the first here to suggest that, we must support local businesses. One of the guests of Ali's last night, living in the Algarve, expat, he's working for a charity there, which is supporting people whose lives have been pretty much ruined by the pandemic response. Effectively, a soup kitchen was one he worked for, but a food bank, effectively another one, where people are being given food to get them through most of the week. This is what's actually happening now. This isn't some way down the street. This is happening now for some people. So I think it's was the word behoves us expats to where we can, if we're a little bit better healed and privileged and better off, that we help out here in this country that is now our home. In the first lockdown here in Belgium, the playgrounds were also closed. This time they're open. Think they understand it was not a good idea. And I wasn't alone, just so everyone knows, I wasn't alone in the playground and got thrown out by the police. I was with my children. I had a good excuse. But I tell you, it's pretty scary nonetheless. There is that, although I have to say, the GNR were great. There is a movie I recommend watching. It's called Capitais de Abril, directed by Maria de Medeiros. Okay, so that's a movie of the Carnation Revolution, I take it, Safira. Thank you for that. Always great when you're here with such recommendations. There is a movie called The Night Train to Lisbon, says Helen. It shows the butcher and the poetic doctor. Great movie. Wow. Okay, and Safira thinks there's subtitles in English. So that's one. That's what if we start a film club. That's our inaugural movie. If I recall, there are actually 2 songs for 2 stages of the revolution. However, I think the Carnation song was the signal for the final stage, and the song has been associated with the revolution. Thank you for that, Neil. Okay, let me tell you about the ACP then. I mean, sorry for the rather clunky contrast here, talking about magnificent things like the Carnation Revolution. And the state of the country, the serious things like that, and then going to something rather prosaic. But then again, you may need this at some point. 10 reasons to be a partner of the ACP. If you've been slow to join us this morning, sorry, I need some ascorbic acid. Hold on a minute. Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah, so that's better. Let's have a look at 10 reasons to be a member of the ACP. And they are, number 1, assistance that repairs or pays. I didn't think you did roadside here in Portugal. It's a mobile workshop with on-site repair wherever possible. Towing and breakdown is advantage 1 here. Valid for cars and motorcycles. Legal assistance services on road law. Now, the other part of this is that the second benefit is that you get a health plan. And I know a lot of people have been asking about this just recently. What's the best thing? What's the best health insurance to have? A free health plan that includes specialty consultations from 34 to 39 euros and reduced cost medical exams with 18,000 providers. Home doctor for 10 euros a visit. That's good value, isn't it? Free GP teleconsultations. I think I'm going to sign up. Medical assistance abroad, home support service, and pharmacy benefits. Yes, I'm going to do this because I'm with Millennium BCP, but a little bit of extra cover like this can't be bad. Sometimes I don't even have a car, but that sounds like really good value, especially if it's from €4.10 a month, €4.10 a month. Discounts and savings every day. BP fuel discounts up to 15 cents a litre. The cheapest electricity and natural gas on the market. ACP discounts on education, technology, fashion, sports, restaurants, leisure, and more. Savings solutions with special conditions from Banco Big. Not heard of Banco Big. Just plug in to get everything up and running. So there's help with home improvements. I think free travel. Free travel throughout the country. These are home benefits. 365 days, 24 hours emergency services, non-urgent services. Contracted labor price. Oh, I see. So you get access to service people as well, tradespeople. Simplify your life. Advantage 5. Driving license renewal in one trip without waiting. Yes, that's a good one. This gets better and better. International driving license. Legalization of imported vehicles. That's what I'm talking to them about on Thursday night on the webinar. If you want to know how to bring a vehicle into Portugal, that's what our webinar is about. And obviously, we'll talk about more generally the ACP, other personal and car documents. So simplify your life, number 5. Protection for everything and everyone. New auto insurance with a fixed price of $10.99. It's going up, but that's still good, isn't it? A mediator on your side. That's who I need with Vodafone. Insurance with exclusive financial conditions. Support services. Safety services. Go further with your club. A travel agency. This is all rather good. And 10, access to the classic ACP benefits, ACP golf and ACP self-catering. Can't be bad. I hope it's all translated so you can understand what all the benefits are that you're getting when you get the policy. I'm sure it is. That's pretty awesome. So what I would ask you to do is if you want to sign up for that, I'm just going to copy and paste. If you go from the Expats Portugal pages from our website, you'll get 25% discount off the fees. Everyone will get 15% and premium members will get 25%. Let me put that link. I think that's pretty good. That's a lot more than I was imagining there. So I will pop that up on the screen. And these are the benefits you'll get in the comments. Click on the comments. That's not going to work on a touch screen. My 2-year-old lad, God forgive me, he gets a little bit of screen time. And the other day, he and I were trying to choose something to watch on the telly. His favorite is Paw Patrol, but I like Bluey. I really like the Australian animation Bluey. Bless him, little guy. He's touching the screen of the telly. In his world, at 2 years of age, it's a touchscreen world. Can you imagine? And I was saying about this in the Expat Man Cave on Friday night. Some of us grew up without the internet and without mobiles, let alone touchscreens for everything. What an amazing world my 2-year-old is growing up into. So there you go. ACP. That looks pretty awesome, doesn't it? And all the benefits there. And I'll be talking to them more. If you want to know more, join us for the webinar on Thursday evening of this week, 2 days' time. And so Spotahome as well. It's like Watchdog or something, isn't it? Consumer show this morning, telling you about another service. This is Spotahome. This is a new thing to me. A fantastic thing that my colleague Astrid has found. Astrid at expatsportugal.com discovered this. Now, could be especially useful to people who want to get a lease agreement as part of their residency package. You know, you need to have your NIF number, and you need to have a valid passport, and you need a residency to show that you are living in the country somewhere, that you're actually living here. This is a way of doing it in a way that Airbnb won't allow you to do. You know, they can't give you a lease agreement, can they? And that's very unlikely to be recognized by a Portuguese camera that you are a resident if you're in an Airbnb. Spotahome, however, does give you a lease. And here it is. Louise was saying earlier on, they haven't got that many properties yet, but I guess it's just a matter of time. They are global in the same way, you know, they are, I guess, the Uber or the Airbnb of the property leasing world. So this is what you do. You search for your perfect property. There are virtual tours and detailed home and neighborhood descriptions of properties to help you make your decision. Don't forget to check the landlord policies before you book. They visit the properties for you. They do the photos, the videos. So they don't rely on a landlord spiel. They do their own independent check, which has got to be good, isn't it? They open drawers and cupboards and show you every corner of the property. I'm not sure I want that much detail, but anyway, they give a detailed description. You reserve the property. When you make a reservation, that property is blocked until the landlord responds to your request for up to a day. Once the landlord accepts, your payment method will be automatically charged. This is why we take your payment details at this stage. What are you paying for with Spotahome? As first payment, as an extra security step, your first payment is made through Spotahome. We will transfer this money to the landlord 48 hours after you move in, unless you contact us with a problem. That's very good as well, isn't it? That's very pro-tenant. Booking fee to cover our home checker and customer support teams. There are no fees in the UK. Maybe it's a UK company. As soon as the landlord accepts the booking, this is step 3, your payment method will automatically be charged. We will put you in contact with the landlord via email so you can arrange the move-in time, key collection, and transfer any documentation that they requested in their policies. And you get help all the way, apparently. Move in, number 4, that's it. The home is yours. The landlord will now be your main point of contact, but Spotahome will still be here in case you have any issues. All you have to do is collect your keys and sign your contract. The first payment, which you made at the beginning of the booking process, will be transferred to the landlord 48 hours after you move in. One last thing, don't forget, when you sign the contract, you will have to pay your deposit to the landlord along with any other fees that they specified in their policy. Well, that's pretty straightforward, isn't it? Like I said, Airbnb for long term, basically, isn't it? And I believe that they're a global. It would appear they're a fast developing global organization. So there you go, Spotahome. Again, 20% off for premium members of expatsportugal.com. And you will find that, actually, let me give you the link to that because it's in our perks and benefits section. And let me just pop that also in the comments for you if you're interested in Spotahome. There you go, / premium member benefits. Hope those things are useful to you this morning. We'll come back to some of what you're watching on YouTube, Netflix. No one's given me an Amazon Prime recommendation. I keep meaning to cancel it because, you know, Jeff's got enough money, hasn't he? And he's done really well out of this pandemic for him coming up with that good idea in the first place. But really, I mean, we need to share it out a bit more, I think. But should I stay with Amazon Prime? Anything good on there? New laws in the UK mean you can't charge tenants. So that will be why there is no fee in the UK. Oh, there you go. Thanks, Louise, for that. In regard of the rest, I'm not sure what that means. So, I see. ACP is best known for its evaluation of classic cars and classic car insurance among the Portuguese. That's good to know. In regard of the rest, I'm not sure. A massive stack of benefits there, though, ACP. Looks pretty good to me. So thank you both, Sapphira and Louise, for that. We did have a couple of other comments that I missed. Oh, yeah, this was the thing with Yes, of course, says Dave. I think it is. This is Dave and Debbie on their way to Portugal in just over 2 weeks' time. It was Dave. Do you remember yesterday we were celebrating the victory of Miguel Oliveira, the MotoGP winner? So I sent Dave a message. It was Dave who alerted me. You need to keep your eye on this bloke. It's a big thing for Portugal, and of course it was. And I sent a message to Dave saying, "Oh, thanks for the tip off about the MotoGP and Miguel. I covered I celebrated his success this morning." Dave had been trying to avoid watching that, I believe, over the weekend, stayed off social media so he wouldn't find out about it. And me, the chump, just by thanking him for it, gave the game away, gave the result away, and he couldn't watch it as if for the first time. So sorry, Dave, for messing that up. I really am. I had no idea. My intentions were good, I can assure you, but it's awful, isn't it? When you spend your whole day, it's proper comedy, that, isn't it? I'm sure it's been featured in a comedy script, avoiding the result, a football result. No, don't tell me. Did you hear about no? And you spend all your day avoiding, more than one day, I think. You spend your day avoiding the result, and then some idiot manages to blurt out and spoil it for you. That was me yesterday. So, but thank you for your original tip off. I would not have known about Miguel Oliveira if not for you. And so I love those sort of tips, everybody. Are there things about Portugal you're thinking Munson is not on his game here? We need to know about this in Portugal, or that X, Y, or Z in Portugal, and he's not doing it. So please do let me know. Hold on a minute. I've missed a whole swathe of comments here. Lucifer is very watchable, says Gary. He is a bit of a dude, and Maze is stunningly good looking. So is Maze, is Maze his sidekick or something like that, Gary? All right. I've got to be honest with you. I just don't like the title Lucifer. I'm being a bit of a wuss with that. I will come back to it. I do value your recommendations. Gianni in Belgium. I also watch videos on YouTube blogs about renovating in Portugal, moving to Portugal. Maybe I will start also a blog about moving in Dutch. My English is not so good. Your English is wonderful. I think your Portuguese is very good. And your Dutch is obviously spot on. But yes, Gianni, I would watch that if you did it. Oh, Louise, why are you buying orange juice? You've got an abundance of oranges in your garden. Yes, I know, but I like to mix it up a bit, literally, with vodka. Yeah, I get it, Louise. They're not ready yet, though, are they? They're on the trees, but they're not at their best yet. So I'm probably drinking 3-year-old Algarvian oranges that got processed some time ago, and it's a habit I will address. I don't mind hanging in there, but I wish they would be a bit clearer about things. Okay, going back to the conditions. Valerie wishes they would be clear about things. They couldn't have made fairly simple instructions more complicated if they tried. It's a bit of governments for you, isn't it? But yeah, absolutely spot on, Valerie. And I know how is assiduous the right word? You've been with this, and committed to following the rules and so on. And yeah, you're absolutely right, I think. But how is there will be ways of making it more simple, but I guess they're iterating as they go along, aren't they? And who would want that job? Certainly not me. Now, I'm aware I might have missed some of your comments this morning because so many have come in, but I do thank you for them. And it's 9:45. I just don't know how that happens every morning. Well, basically, yeah, me rabbiting on is how it happens. But I thank you for your attendance and your forbearance this morning, and your recommendations, of course. If you have HBO, I recommend Succession. Please don't talk to me about HBO. I enjoyed having HBO and something else, some other channels I lost making the move from Vodafone to Mayo, but I won't open up that rich seam of pain right now. If they manage to have bureaucracy even when they speak. For a last comment of the day from Portuguese bloke Safiro. Joel, thank you so much. I love your your interjections there. Oh no, this always happens, doesn't it? As I go to close the show, more comments come in. Enjoy the day, says Will. It's always a good reminder, isn't it? That ultimately, yes, we are in charge of our own experience of things. So enjoy the day, says Will. And sorry, says Anna, for mentioning HBO. Only kidding, Anna. Not a biggie. And the UK need a good revolution. Just chucks that in there at the end with his revolutionary talk. Later all, cheers. I'll say the same thing. Later all, cheers. Saúde, chin chin, abrazos, beijinhos, te logo, próxima, até amanhã. In fact, not até amanhã. Oh, well, I'll see you on the morning show, obviously, tomorrow. But I'll be back tonight for Portuguese Positive News and the Happy Homesteader Show with Donna Jacqueline, the grandmother of our community. And she'll be here tonight, the expat elder, who is Donna Jacqueline, joining me tonight at 10 o'clock. And apparently, Jenny says, my English has improved a lot because of your show, Carl. Well, I'm hoping we haven't left you with any bad habits. Don't watch the Expat Man Cave to improve on your English, because at the moment you'll be effing and jeffing like a trooper with that Mad Dog McCrossan who joins us from the north of Ireland each week. A lot of fun, but probably not the best place to learn English. Gianni, thank you very much. Gianni, I should say. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, for joining me this morning. Have a great day, as Will says. Enjoy the day, folks, and we'll see you again either tonight or tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.